All right, there we go. All right, we've got our feed up on YouTube. Let me go ahead and mute that down. All right, great. That's muted down. Let's get back to where were we? Let's get back to where we were. All right, let's go ahead and get everybody in. With these people here so we can go ahead and get started. We are broadcasting live on YouTube. First of all, I want to thank our YouTube viewers for joining us. Those who are going to be on YouTube. For our YouTube viewers, if you have a question or anything, go ahead and type your question in to YouTube. We'll kind of bounce back and forth to try to answer your questions. And at the end of everything, we'll definitely jump back onto the YouTube platform and go over any questions that were asked, and we'll try to answer those live. But let's go ahead and get started. This is good evening, everybody. This is Calvin Butler with the National Dispatchers Network and Assurance USA. And tonight is how-to dispatch training. Let me go ahead and start my recording, our cloud recording. As I was saying, this is Calvin Butler with the National Dispatchers Network and the Assurance USA platform. And tonight is how-to dispatch training. So we've got a couple of updates that we need to bring to you all first, and then we're going to get into our Tuesday night dispatch training. Tonight's training is going to be on how to take your carrier that you have already signed on and how to get them set up on dedicated lanes, how to find dedicated lanes, where to find them, and how to get them set up on the dedicated lane so that you can get them, because once they're set up on dedicated lanes, they're kind of like self-dispatching. So that's a great way to free up your time and to continue to get paid your dispatching fee without really having to be hands-on with the day-to-day mundane, finding a load, sending it over, and that type of stuff. If you can set them up on a dedicated, then you still get credit for that dedicated lane. Why? Because it was set up through you. So you're still getting your weekly dispatch fee or whatever your percentage is if you're running your own firm, if you're charging by the percentage or whatever the case may be. So that is perfectly legal for you to do that. And it's a great way to increase the size of your business without increasing your workflow. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit later on. But first, let's get with some updates. We're letting some people in here. Now, as you all know, we had a couple of companies that we've been seeking out to add to our core products. I finished doing my research with MWR, the MWR Financial. That's the company that helps individuals to basically improve their financial status through a series of things that their experts do for you. One of the main things that they do is they go in and they help to lower your tax debt. They restructure your tax liability, and they help you lower your tax debt so that you're not paying a whole lot of unnecessary money towards taxes. As you all know, the very rich pay very little, in most cases, no taxes. I can attest to that because I've owned a tax firm, and this past year, my wife did very well in her business, but by taking advantage of the tax codes and some of the things that they allow you to take on your deductions, she wound up not owing any taxes last year. Myself, I wound up owing very little taxes last year. I mean, when I say very little, I mean very little. So, we've all seen the headlines. Donald Trump made billions, but he paid $750 in taxes. That's not uncommon. A lot of people look at it and they say, "Oh," and they gasp at it, but it's not really an uncommon thing because the U.S. tax laws are not written to tax the rich. They really aren't. The wealthy get a lot of tax breaks because they are looked upon as the providers of growth, the stimulators of growth, the provider of jobs, and they are looked upon as helping the economy to grow. So with that being said, they have access to these different deductions and tax incentives and things that allow them to depreciate or 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 help bring down their tax liability. Okay. Now, for those of you who are coming on, make sure you either keep your mics muted, or if you got some stuff going on in the background, keep your mics muted because we're right in the middle of our introduction. Now, as I was saying, that's not uncommon to lower your taxes. The other thing that this company does, which is MWR. Matter of fact, let me pull them up real quick here. Where's my YouTube stuff? Let me just going to start sharing my screen so I can pull this up for you all, and you all can take a look at it. All right, there we go. All right, let me see if I can pull them up real quick. MWR. MWR Financial. All right. Yeah, here they are. But this is the company, MWR Financial, and they work to put you in a better situation financially. And like I say, they help you get an instant pay raise by lowering your taxes. By lowering your taxes and changing your tax liability, that allows you to keep more money within your paycheck if you have a regular job. If you are running your own business, it allows you to keep a lot of your money. When you're running your own business, or you have some type of home business, or especially like what you all are doing with your dispatching, this is going to allow you all to keep a ton of your own money instead of paying a lot of it towards taxes. So that's how they help you to increase your income, your cash flow, your income and cash flow. They also work to better your financial situation by helping you to improve your credit, by correcting your credit, getting things removed off your credit that are there for error. Now, I want to make one thing known. No one, I don't care how good they are, can remove legitimate debts from your credit. Let's make that clear. Because a lot of people go into the credit restoration programs and they think, well, I owe student loans, they can get taken off. No, they can't. Okay, if you took out a student loan and you owe that money, guess what? You owe that money. I don't care what type of credit restoration you go through or anything you go through, that's not going to come off. If you legitimately took out a debt, if you legitimately signed for a debt, if you legitimately signed for a loan and you defaulted on that loan, you are still obligated to pay it. No one can remove that because it's a legitimate claim. Now, stuff that is not legitimately on your credit report, stuff that is there in error, or stuff that has been paid off, has been settled and is still on there, that stuff can be removed. Okay, I want to make that very clear, because once we get involved with this and we're talking with people, one of the things that we're going to have with our clientele, we're going to have that conversation with them up front. You don't want to go into a situation where you're showing someone the credit repair or the credit restoration portion of this program, and they're thinking in their head, well, you can clear up all my credit. No one can do that. Okay, let's make that very clear. If you have a legitimate debt that you have defaulted on, or that you are not paying, or that you owe someone, you are still obligated to pay that, and no one can remove that. No one, not a lawyer, not anyone. Now, if the debt has been already paid and is still on your credit, or if it's something that was supposed to have been taken off, like let's say if you had a repossession years ago and it's still there after 7 years, even though you haven't paid it, yes, that can be removed. But if you had a repossession, a year ago and it's still there, guess what? It's going to stay there. until you pay it or until it reaches its maturity of that 7-year period, and then it can be removed. So, you have a lot of people that will come back and say, well, you couldn't help me get this off. Well, that's because no one could. That's something. If you owe someone, you owe someone. You can't just, say, well, I'm gonna do credit restoration, and we use a lot of paying someone what you owe them because that's what you owe them. Okay, so let's make that very clear. I want everyone to understand that, because in doing my research, and you all know me, I dig deep. So when I'm looking at a company, and I dug really deep on this company, and I found 14 claims that were filed with the Better Business Bureau. Every last one of the claims that was filed, or the what you might call bad reviews for this company, were all pertaining to the credit restoration. No bad reviews on the on lowering your tax debt. No bad reviews on creating your investments and showing you how to invest and getting you invested in stuff and helping you to turn your money into a money maker. No bad reviews on of them showing you how to become your own bank. None of the other stuff had any bad reviews over the last 10 years. Nothing. But the credit restoration had 14 over the last 10 years. Now, out of that 14, 12 of those were submitted this year after the coronavirus thing hit, because everything slows down because of the coronavirus. I can't even go to my bank without making an appointment now. If I want to, wire funds, I have to make an appointment. And in some cases, it's a week later, so everything slows down. And those bad reviews that they did receive were due to nothing that they did, but it's because of the credit bureaus. They're not working as fast as they used to. They're limited staff. Everybody's not in. Everything slowed down. Everything has been delayed because of the coronavirus. Okay. And the other thing that I looked at, all of the bad reviews that I saw, the 14 that were posted for the last 10 years, every last one of them was due to the fact that the consumer did not clearly understand that you cannot remove a legitimate debt. Okay, so a lot of the bad reviews were not really bad reviews. It's just that the consumer just was misinformed. They did not understand that, if you have a legitimate debt, you got to pay that. You can't get that removed. You can only remove debt that is in error, debt that is delinquent, stuff that that should have been taken off, that has reached its maturity date, like your repossession. Once it hits 7 years, it's supposed to come off, but if it doesn't come off, then you can petition to have it removed. That stuff you can have removed. But if you owe a legitimate debt that you have defaulted on, guess what? You still owe that money. You gotta pay that. You gotta pay your debts. Okay, so that's the conversation that we need to have if we're going to take this on with our clientele. We need to have that conversation up front to make sure that our clientele understands that if you have a legitimate debt, that cannot be removed. All right. So with that being said, this Saturday, I actually had about an hour meeting with the founder of this company, with one of the founders of this company, and Mr. Bean, Mr. Brian N. Bean. This is Mr. Brian N. Bean. We talked about him last night. This is his channel. I've been following him for quite some time. I've never actually had a conversation with him. I've been following him for about the last 6-7 years. This gentleman, in following his strategies, he is what's called a mentor to millionaires. He's a mentor to people in helping them to better their financial situation. And so I've been following him for about the last 6 or 7 years, and I've actually implemented a lot of his stuff that he has on his YouTube channel that helped me transition from homelessness to being a self-made millionaire now. Okay, so he has been very instrumental in my rise, as so to speak. But today I had the pleasure of actually speaking with him in person, meeting him. We was on a Zoom call today, and he came tapping in, said that he had heard about our platform and what we were planning on doing, and he thinks it's great. And we talked for about an hour, and guess what? He is going to be joining us this Saturday. for our Six Figures Booking Faith from Home show. He's going to be joining us this Saturday, where he's going to be talking about MWR and what their product, what their services, what their team of experts can bring to our company and to all of us, and how we can help not just people within the trucking industry, but people in general to improve their financial situations. So that's going to be a great opportunity for us to have him in person and to listen to him in person speak about this great this product and these services. So and we've already talked with them about whether it's okay for corporate to pay you all's initial startup fee, which they say that's perfectly fine. There's no problem with that. I got that straight from the co-founder and Mr. Bean. I got that straight from the owners of the platform. So that's not a problem. Being able to market this on our website, on our social media pages, no problem. Not like it was with Legal Shield, where we were restricted and not able to put this on our social media pages and not able to put it on our website. That's not a problem. They don't have a problem with that. That came straight from the horse's mouth. So in having a conversation with them and doing my own background work, I am thoroughly satisfied that this is a really, really good company. They have a really, really great products. The reason why I think their product and I know their products work, because I've used their strategies, and their strategies were instrumental in getting me from being homeless to the situation I'm in now. You all know I like, to invest money in Robinhood and Acorns, and my Robinhood and Acorn account. I've shown you all several times what my Robinhood and Acorn accounts are doing. And I just started those in March. And I think in one account, I've got almost $12,000 of earnings from my investment. And in another account, I've got about 11.5 in my earnings from the investments that I have through Robinhood and Acorn. And those are continuing to grow. Next year, this time, I'll be sitting on 33 or 37,000 in the Acorn account and almost 31, 32,000 in the Robinhood account. And you can track your progress. You can track your future earnings and dividends through their tracking system. So, having your money work for you, there's nothing better than that. Just, invest your money and forget about it. Let your money work for you, because money does not get tired. Money does not get sleepy. Money does not have headaches. Money does not have a bad day. Money does not have an attitude. All money knows how to do is make more money if you know how to position it and put it into place. And that's what this company does. They do that. They help you to lower your tax debt, your tax obligation. They help you to lower those, thus allowing you to keep more of your money, allowing you to invest more of your money, allowing you to make more money. They help you to improve your credit situation and removing erroneous and bad things from your credit report. Things that shouldn't be there. Now, things that should be there, no one can take that off. But the things that shouldn't be there, they'll help you to get that removed. Help you to, they've got a great program called their Land Op program. I am so interested in that. In their Land Op program, they have a Land Op co-op program type of situation where you, small portion of your money goes into a big pool to where they purchase land that are in the path of growth. Okay, so that you have a stake in all this land, and then when someone comes to this property and says, "Hey, I need this property to build this, or I need this property to do this," then they work out a lease type situation with government, with government entities and big business, where they can lease that land, and then you start getting your dividends checks from that land, lease from those lease options. So, everything that they do is geared towards helping you to put you in a better financial situation. So I'm very excited about it, and looking forward to us getting on with them. So I'm going to go ahead and get onboarded tonight after this meeting, and then tomorrow and the rest of this week, we'll work on getting all of you all situated, because we're going to pay for your corporate. We are going to pay for your initial startup. Okay, we're going to pay for your initial startup. So you all don't have to worry about that $217 or whatever it is for you all to get started up. We'll take care of that for you. And then we're going to position you all in a way that all you've got to do is make one sale. You get one client, you make one sale, and then you don't have to worry about your monthly payments. You don't have to worry about your membership payments, because you get your one client, and we're going to place underneath you your 3 people, and all you got to do is just get one client to eliminate your monthly payments. That's it. That's it. So you don't have to worry about that monthly fee that comes with that, because we're going to help you. We're going to position you in a manner so that makes that very easy for you to obtain that and not have to worry about that. And then all you have to worry about then is just what? Selling the service. People get interested in it, sell the service, and just make money and just increase your revenue. Okay. And let their experts work for you in getting your taxes reduced, in turning your extra money into investments, and turn your money into another means of making money and becoming your own bank. All right. So he is going to be on, and the other founding partner is going to be on this Saturday. And we may also have the gentleman who owns this company on Saturday, ORDP. We have reached an agreement. I am preparing the offer, the counter offer agreement that we have agreed upon. I'm putting the finishing touches on it, and I will have it in his hands by tomorrow. So we will have that signed so we can offer this product, and we should be getting somewhere in the neighborhood of $15 per month for every time we sign up a carrier to the legal protection plan. And that's residual income. So if they're paying that $38 per month, $38.95, we get in $15 of that. Okay, you all will get 10, corporate gets 5. So it increases you all's residual by $10 every month. The more and more people you add. If you add a company that is doing it for all of their drivers, 50, 60, 100, 200, 1,000 drivers, guess what? You multiply that times 10, and that's your residual income. Okay, so great opportunities that we have that's coming up to add to our new core products. The things that we're adding are going to greatly increase our opportunities to increase our earnings and to help more and more people to be in better situations. So that's what we have that's coming up on Saturday. So big day on Saturday. All right, with that being said, let's get rid of this stuff and let's go ahead and get into our training. Now, hold on, let me pull up 2 points of training here. Give me a second here. Your industry partner. Y'all give me a second. Pull up both these, because we're going to be on both these sites tonight. All right, tonight is how-to dispatch training, and tonight's training is dedicated lanes, how to transition your existing clientele that you have and transition them into dedicated lanes. So we're going to talk about both platforms. We're going to show you how to do this through the National Dispatchers Network and tools and resources that we have over here. We're also going to show you how to do it through the Assurance USA Corporation if you are a member specialist and you have clientele over there. All right. Now, as we have noted, look, dispatching freight is very profitable. Okay. You really, if you got yourself, 4 clients, that's all you really need. If you're doing it from a standpoint of you're running your own dispatch firm through the National Dispatchers Network. If you got yourself just 4 carriers that you're dispatching for, just 4, I'm not talking about 40 or 20 or 15, just 4 carriers. I'm gonna show you what 4 carriers can do for you, and you're charging them 10% of the load fee. If you got yourself just 4 carriers, we all know that the average long haul load is 769 miles. That's the average for the average over the road haul. We know that the average rate across the board, if you take them all and you average them out, it comes up to be about $1.89 per mile. That's the average right now. So if you got 769 miles times $1.89 per mile, you're looking at about $1,453.41 is the average payout on loads. Okay, that's the average payout. Some are higher, some are lower, but that's about the average. Okay, now based on the hours of service when you're pulling your own trailer, this is not we're not talking about dropping hooks. We're talking about when you're pulling your own trailer, because it takes you an hour, a couple of hours to get loaded, a couple of hours to get unloaded, and you have the hours of service. So based on the current hour service rules, a good driver can run about 4 of those per week. That's about the most that they're going to be able to do, 4 loads like that per week. So if you take that times 4, that's the total load fees that's made. Now, for the carrier. Now, if you're charging 10%, that's paying you about $581.36 per week for dispatching one carrier 4 loads per week. Now, if you had yourself 4 carriers, what are you looking at? You average that out. I'm sorry, 581.36. Let me redo that. 581.36 times 4 carriers. Now, that's what 4 carriers can bring you on average. Okay? Now, 4 carriers don't sound like a lot when you're dispatching, right? It really does not sound like a lot. But if you're finding them the average load fees of $1.89 per mile, with the average mileage of 769 miles. Now remember, some is going to be higher, some is going to be less, but that's your average. We're going on averages here. That's $2,325 that you could bring home every week. Okay, and you multiply that. There's 4.33 weeks in a month. That gives you $10,069 a month on just 4 carriers. On just 4 carriers. Now, here is the problem. Well, I wouldn't say a problem. Everyone wants to grow. You always want to make more. You always want to grow your firm, all right? So you want to bring on more and more carriers. But you as one person, right, you can't really handle all those carriers by yourself. Anything more than 4 is going to become a problem. Do y'all agree with that? Do y'all agree with anything more than more than 4, and you're trying to dispatch them yourself? That's going to become very difficult. Okay, it becomes very difficult because of time management. So what do? Okay, one thing you can do, you can hire dispatch agents, just like freight brokers hire freight broker agents, right? And you can pay them 60% of the 10% you're charging. So they're collecting 6% of the load fee, you're collecting 4%. Okay, and that will work out great, because if you can get each one of them to do what you do and you duplicate yourself and each one of them gets 4, you can conceivably bring on as many dispatch agents as you want, and all of y'all could just be dispatching 4 carriers. Okay, that's one way. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Okay, the other way of doing it is you could find dedicated freight, dedicated lanes, and transition those carriers to dedicated freight. Because if you put them on dedicated freight, then you no longer have to worry about the day-to-day, mundane operations of finding them loads and dispatching them. You pretty much put them on a self-dispatch, regiment, and you're still collecting your 10%, right? Because you have them on a self-dispatch regiment. Now, how do you do this under the National Dispatchers Network? I'm going to show you this, because remember, our back office tools and resources for the National Dispatchers Network is a little bit different than the ones that we have for the Assurance USA. Okay, and let me show you here what we're talking about. If you're running your own dispatch firm and you're using our tools and resources for the Dispatchers Network, we're going to show you how to find dedicated freight. Okay, we're going to show you how to find or how to put them on some dedicated runs. First of all, you're going to go here and you're going to look through your load boards, and we're going to go to my favorite load board, as you all know I like. direct freight. Okay, let's find direct freight. And let's go through there and there it is. Okay. Now you can do this on just about any load board, really, but we're going to use direct freight. Let's log in. That's it. Log in. Hold on. Let me go back and check my login. $. I know my login works because they're still taking money out of my account. I hope no one has went in and changed our passwords. Now, y'all remember, you all are not to change these logins. You all do know that, right? You all are not to change these logins, okay? So I hope no one has gone in. But we got a lot of new people, and sometimes new people tend to go in and do stuff that they're not supposed to be doing. And I've emphasized this on several occasions. You all are not to change these logins. All right, there we go. Update. All right. Let's go in here and look at this load map. Go to the load map. All right. All right. We're in direct freight. All right. Now, here's how you want to. This is what you want to do when you're trying to put them on trying to find them dedicated runs. Okay. If you, let's say we're in and loads are looking pretty good right now. You've got over 1,000 loads here in Florida. You got more than 3,000 loads in Texas. Alabama, more than 4,500 loads. Georgia, more than 2,500 loads. So, the load counts are looking really good. Even up in North Dakota, which is notorious for having single-digit loads, they're up to 314. And, South Dakota, over 1,200 loads. Those are notorious. All these areas up here are notorious for having single-digit loads. But this shows you how improved the load count has become. Okay, so the market is doing very, very well as far as the number of loads, and the rates are doing decent right now too. So this is a good time to be dispatching. It really is. So let's go ahead and look at one of these areas here. Let's go over here to some place that we don't normally go a lot. Let's go over here to Ohio. We don't normally go to Ohio and PA and places like that. So let's go to Ohio today. Let's look at Ohio. All right. Let me go ahead and move this out the way. Move this down. All right, there we go. All right. So we're in Ohio. All right. Let's go ahead and increase our radius to about 50 miles. And our drop off to about 50 miles. Make sure I got my okay, I gotta figure out which one of these things is good. I gotta put the right one in. See, I'm logged in on my other thing. I keep forgetting I am logged in on my other computer with this stuff, and I've gotta hold on here. Let me see if I can change this. Y'all give me a moment. We'll try a different one. Hopefully I'm not logged in on that one. Nope, I'm logged. Okay. No, I'm logged in with that one too. All right, I've got to hold on here. And the bad part about it is the computer that I'm logged in on is broken. I can't even get into it. So we're gonna do this without the straight dispatch tonight until I can get with Khalid and change my login. because y'all remember when my dog broke my other computer, it was still logged into my straight dispatch, and I can't log out of it because in the system in straight dispatch it's still showing that it's logged in, even though the computer is broken, which is kind of crazy, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and let's do these this without the straight dispatch. It's going to be a little bit more time consuming, but we can do it. With the straight dispatch, it becomes a lot easier. But I'm going to show y'all how to do this without the straight dispatch. Okay, since we don't have it right now. All right, so we don't have the straight dispatch. So as you can see here, when I'm putting my cursor over stuff, it's not showing us what the rate per mile is. All right, so y'all are gonna have to bear with me here because that straight dispatch really gets you really dependent on it. When you're seeing your rate per miles and all that type of stuff, and you're seeing them light up with the red and all that type of stuff, it's a great product. So for tonight's purposes, we're gonna have to do without it because I don't have access to that other computer that was broken, and I can't really log out of it. So I got to get with Khalid to kind of disable it for me, and then recast it so I can put it back on this computer. All right, but we're gonna go with just doing the regular math. All right, so here we have a van load that's not really good. All right, let's go with something around this right here. 673, paying $3,000. Now that's a good run. So you've got a load that's going 673 miles and it's paying $3,000. Can anybody tell me how much that would be? That's roughly about what? That's a little less than what? Almost $3 per mile? Does that sound right? Any and everybody? Talk to me, you math wizards. Anybody? Math wizards? Let's do the math on this. So let's light this up again. 673 miles. There we go. And the payout on it is $3,000. So what is that? That's 3,000 divided by 673.
Pretty good rate.
That should be a pretty good rate. That's about $4.45. That's a pretty good rate. Now y'all see how much. Now y'all are getting a real comparison of how much time that straight dispatch saves you, right? So y'all see how valuable that straight dispatch is. Because without it, you got to do this manually. Okay, and we've gotten so used to just plugging it in and watching the highlight and it tells us what it is. That's really, really an ingenious software that Mr. Khalid Hodge came up with. So I have to give another shout out to him because tonight we are operating the old-fashioned way without the straight dispatch. So it gives you a perspective. It puts it into perspective how valuable that software is that we have access to. All right. So here's a load that's paying $4.45 per mile. Great paying load. It is a dry van load. Okay. Right. I think this is a van load. Is it not? Full. Nope, that's a reefer. All right. So it's a refrigerator load. All right. But that's still pretty good. $4.45, almost 47 cents per mile. Now, when you find this load, all right, I'm gonna show y'all how to get it set up to see if it is how to find out if it is a repeat load and how to get your driver put on it as the driver to run that load. Now, what you want to do after this, when you find the load, you want to do what's called a reverse search, and direct freight makes it real easy for you. They have a reverse search section here. So all you got to do is go ahead and click reverse search, and it's going to search from that destination back to your pickup spot, right? All right. So you're gonna do a reverse search. Right now, I don't really see anything. There's no trailer types. You're looking for reefers. Now, Reefers can also pull what? Dry van loads, right? Right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Reefers can also pull dry van loads. So we're gonna include some van loads in that search there, and we're gonna do a reverse search. All right. So we didn't get anything there on that one. So let's expand it a little bit to 100 miles and radius of 50 miles there. And now let's do a search. All right, now we got some stuff going back. Now, we don't have any pay rate, so that's kind of, disappointing that we don't have any pay rates here, okay? But you can always call them and ask them what the rates are. Let's see if we can increase this a little bit to get some rates. See if I increase that to 100, just for the sake of us doing it. See if we can get some rates in here. Nothing on the rate still. There's nothing going back there. Okay. Let's do this. 150. All right, we got a couple of rates. All right. So we got a couple of rates, 143 miles. Not great, but not that bad. And they're both van loads. And this was going 512 miles and both going 512 miles, and it's paying $900. Now, because you're trying to set up a dedicated, this is not actually that bad. Now, it would be nice if it was, less deadhead miles, right? That would be nice if it was less deadhead miles. If you had something like this right here, which is like 51 deadhead miles, trip miles 661, and if you were to call them up and they tell you, yeah, this is paying, let's say $900, okay? Or, with the 661 deadhead miles, $900,000, that still wouldn't be that bad, because it's a way to get back to your money load. You understand what I'm saying? So even if, let's say if you went down here, you found one that was a short deadhead to go pick up, just 51 miles, and it's 661 miles is the run on that. Now, both these are going to take more than one full day of running. All right, so it's going to take you a whole day to run both these loads. This load right here is going to take you a whole day to run, and part of the next day, a little bit of the next day, because most drivers can run about 650 miles. This is 673, so it would be a push to try and run that in the same day, all that in one driving shift. That would be a stretch. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all know that would be a stretch. There are some drivers out there that could probably do it, but very few. You can probably count them on both your hands. Okay, there's not very many drivers that can drive more than 650 miles in a driving shift. I know, because the max that I've been able to drive, the max that I've been able to drive was about 660. Okay, but I could do 650 kind of easily. It just, as long as I stay sat in that chair for a full 8 hours of driving, take my half-hour break, and then drove for another, 2 hours and 45 minutes just to get to my destination, or drove the whole 3 hours and ran my clock out just to get to my destination. That's 650 miles. Okay, so it would be very difficult to run that in one driving shift. So what you have is you have a load that you can run in a day and probably an hour of driving the next day. Okay, which means you got time to go pick that other load up, right? That next day, right?
Right.
Right. So you drive this right here. You'll probably come up short about 20 some miles, and then you'll drive for about 45 minutes the next day and complete the drive. Drop it off early that morning, especially if you run it, shut down, get up, 4:30 in the morning, right? Because that's about the time you're gonna get up. If you run the whole time, you're gonna shut down about 4 or 5 o'clock that first day, and then you're gonna shut down your truck, and you're gonna be ready to run about 4 in the morning, about 4 to 4:30 in the morning. So if you get up, you start running that, you'll get there before 6 a.m. Okay, you'll get there before 5 a.m. Right when they're opening up. You get there, go in the sleeper, save some time on your clock, roll in there, drop your load, then you can go pick up your other load, which is only in this case, if it's only 51 miles away, right? You go pick up your other load, it's just a 51-mile run. So you got time to go pick that up, and you can start that run the next day. So what you do is, after you ran that load, then you run to pick that load up. And let's say this load right here is pretty much the same as this up here, okay? On 661 miles, on 661 miles, let's say it's paying, $900. That's not very much, but but you're not looking for that backhaul load or that reverse search load to pay you a whole bunch. You're looking for that just to get you back to your money load without you losing any money. Because here's what you're gonna do. All right, so you got this load that paid $445, which paid $3,000. Okay, and this load here went 600, and you got the other load that's going 661 miles, 661, and well, hold on, and but let's say it paid 900 first. Let's say it paid $900 divided by 661. So this load is only going to pay you like $1.36 per mile. Now most people say, well, that ain't no money. Well, it's not if that was if that was the one-time run and you're not trying to do it in dedicated. Now, because the other load paid $445 per mile, $3,000. Now you know that you have it, and if you call up that carrier and say, hey, if you call up that broker and say, hey, my guy likes this load, does this load repeat? Now, if they say, yeah, that load repeats every other day, right? Or it repeats or it runs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? So that means Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can pick up $3,000 each one of those days. So that's $9,000, right? Right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So your days in between is the $900. So that's basically $9,000 plus $1,800. Y'all see how that's working now? Because you're running those and you're running the other one basically 2 days out the week, right? So that's going to be $9,000 plus $1,800. Because you're gonna call that load, you say, hey, my guy would like to have that load, and pick it up every Tuesday and what? Thursday. Because Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you got the other load, and you're using this load to get you back to your money load. Right? And $10,800 a week, that's a pretty good week for a dedicated run. Is that not?
Yes.
That is.
Yeah.
True.
So you can see how even though one of those loads is not paying very much money at all, when you combine them and you research and you can get them turned into a dedicated, it actually makes for a good combination of loads. And see, most dispatchers would not even consider this because the one load, $1.38, who's going to run that? $1.36? They would discount that, but they're not thinking clearly. They're not using their head, okay? Because the objective is to have a great week, not just to run one load, right? And trying to get the most out of every little load you get. The objective is to piece together a dedicated run, a dedicated lane that's going to pay you out great money for the week. Because that's what it's really all about, right? And if you do this, then you've got this guy set, right? You don't have to worry about dispatching him anymore, day to day, because he's now set on a dedicated lane that's paying him $10,800 per week. And your cut of that is what? Minus 10%. Your cut is $1,080. Y'all see how that's working? And he's still making $9,720 a week. Y'all know any carriers that would love that, Ron?
Yeah, I do.
Exactly. Of course,
Yeah.
of course you do. So look, you all could really make a killing or make you a living off of stuff that other dispatchers would just overlook because they're not trained on how to spot these types of load opportunities. Okay, yeah, it takes a little bit of thought process and a little bit of planning, but it's worth it. Is it not? Is $9,720 a week not worth it to your driver? And is $1,000, and what 1,000? What it is for you, $1,080 a week. Is that not good money for you off of one driver, off of one carrier? Is it?
Yes, it is.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, and all it takes is just a little bit of planning. Just change the way you view, loads and the load board. Change the way you perceive cheap freight. Because cheap freight has its purpose. It really does. If you know how to use it. If you know how to use it, cheap freight has its purpose. And the purpose of this is just to get you back to your money load, right? Because if you can use this to get back to your money load, that little extra $900 really goes a long ways 2 times a week, right?
Right.
Yeah. And the fuel you're gonna spend is gonna be about, let's say if you spend $720 in fuel, which is a bit much, you're probably gonna spend somewhere close to about $6 on both those runs, right? If you're spending $720 that week on fuel, or if you're spending, even if you're spending $1,000 that week on fuel, that means that driver is taking home more than $8,000, right? You're taking $8,700 home every week. You know any drivers that could live with that? A lot, right? A lot of drivers will be giddy over that, because if and your fuel is probably going to come out to be about that right there, that 720, somewhere around there. So they're really going to be taking home about $9,000 a week. And when you look at it from that standpoint, and 52 weeks in a year, y'all see that number?
Yes. Yeah.
Would your owner operators just get giddy over that?
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they would. Of course they would. And we just did that just by surfing the load board and taking a really, really cheap freight load, right? Taking a cheap freight load and taking a decent load, and you marry the two, and you call up, you do some some digging, you call up the broker, say, hey, now the guy that has that cheap load, if he would love to put that on a dedicated, would he not? Because he probably has problems finding a run for that load every week. Does he not?
It's true.
Yeah. So if it's possible, the guy that's running that cheap, he'll be like, oh yeah, man, I'd love to get somebody on that load dedicated. And then if you call the other person, well, first you're going to call the good paying load first and make sure that it's a repeatable load, right? So if he repeats at least 3 times a week, then you call the other guy, he says, oh yeah, man, I'd love to put someone on that load dedicated, right? But you got to ask those questions, because if you don't ask that question each and every time, you're not going to know if the loads are repeatable or not. And if you dispatch someone on 10 loads, right? And if you ask that question each and every time, and one of them turns out to be too dedicated, the one time you call out of the 10, you find a dedicated mix like that, then it's worth it to you. Do y'all see what I'm saying? Do y'all see what I'm saying here?
Yes.
But you're never gonna find that out if you don't ask the probing question. If you don't make the effort to piece together these types of loads. Okay. This is the difference between a dispatcher who is struggling making, $30,000-$40,000 a year, and the dispatch firm who's making, a couple $100,000 a year. Because, you got to make a carrier extremely happy with that right there. If you put them on a dedicated, lanes like that, and they're bringing, and they're basically bringing home $468,000 a year. So now, can you tell me that cheap freight doesn't pay? Of
Yeah.
course it does. If it's used right, if it's implemented right. So when I hear people talk about, oh man, I won't run no cheap freight, I won't run no cheap. Oh, well, let me ask you a question. Would you run a load that would help you make $468,000 a year? Oh yeah, I'll run that. Okay, so if I put you on a dedicated run that brings you $468,000 a year, you got no problem with running that. Oh, I'll run that all day long. Okay, well, one of those loads that you're gonna be running dedicated at least twice a week is only paying $1.36 per mile. Right? So your assertion that you won't run a cheap freight load, that just got blown out the window. Did it not?
Sure.
Yeah, it just got blown out the window. Because most carriers don't understand the role of cheap freight. Okay. There is a role for cheap freight. And if you truly understand how to book freight, if you truly understand how to be an owner-op business manager and not just someone who's just finding freight, then you can make cheap freight pay handsomely. Okay, you can make a carrier's whole career on a cheap freight load, married with a decent paying load, and you marry those two loads. I mean, you got yourself a winner. You got yourself a winner. Okay, because I don't know a carrier out there that would turn down a dedicated run that he's running, the same two loads, every other day. One load he's running every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The other load he's running every Tuesday and Thursday. That gets him back to his Monday load. I don't know a carrier out there that would turn that down. I don't know a reefer carrier that would turn that down. And you're only running 600 and some odd miles one way and 600 and some odd miles the other way. It's not like you got to run all the way across country to make that kind of money. You understand what I'm saying?
This is true.
And these are doable loads, because this is something that these are live loads that we just looked up, right? It's not like we're making this stuff up. It's not like we're just making up numbers, because we're not. We're looking at actual live loads that we just pulled this from. So that tells you it's doable if you put forth the effort. You just put forth a little bit of effort in finding loads and putting them together and making them work. Now, not only is you're making that kind of money for your carrier, but you're looking at setting yourself up from that one carrier, $1,080 times 52, just from that one carrier. You're looking at $56,000 a year that you'll make off that one carrier. That ain't bad for one carrier, right? Right?
Right.
And guess what? You ain't got to dispatch him every day no more. You got to make that money. That's the real kicker, right? That's the real kicker. You basically just set him on automation, and you're going to take $56,160 each year for a carrier that you don't have to dispatch from day to day. Just got to check on him every now and then. Call the broker up every now and then. Call the brokers up. Hey, how's that guy doing on those the dedicated we put it on? Hey man, he's doing great, man. He's always there on time. He picks it up, this is that. You call the carrier, oh man, I love this run, man. I'm running the same loads every day. I get to know the people, they get to know me, so we have a good rapport. I mean, come on, who wouldn't love that? What truck driver, what owner operator would not love a combination of loads like that and taking home $400,000+ a year? So now when you hear people say, man, you can't really make money dispatching, what do you all say to them? You can if you know what you're doing, right? Right? Of course you can make money as a dispatcher if you know what you're doing. If you start applying the right type of strategies. No, you can't just jump into this and just half-heartedly do a job. I mean, if you're gonna do something, be good at it. All right, and you see the difference between being good at something and just kind of well, I'm just gonna find some freight for this guy. Every day I call him up, find some freight, shift some stuff, and I'll be all right. Well, that's how you only make $30,000-$40,000 a year. But on just this one carrier, putting him on a dedicated run like this that you piece together, you're making $56,000 a year plus. But what happens if you did 3 carriers like that? Right? Or if you just had your 4 carriers and put your 4 carriers or found your 4 carriers dedicated runs like that. Right? Similar to that, if you did just 4 carriers, you're grossing over $200,000 a year. Remember I told y'all the difference between the dispatchers that are making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year and making $200,000 a year? This is it right here. I'm just showing you all the difference. And it's not that difficult to do. It really isn't. You just have to sit down and plan it out and take some steps to finding them the dedicated runs and asking the questions. Each and every time you system on a load, you ask that question. You find them a load, you find them a backhaul, you ask that question. Is this load repeatable? How many times a week does this load run? You ask that question each and every time. If you ask it each and every time, you're bound to get at least 2 out of 10 that are going to tell you, yeah, this load repeats, every so and so and so, or this load repeats every day. This load runs 3 times a week. All you got to do now is just find them a repeatable backhaul, and you in the mix. You in the money. Your carrier's in the money. Everybody's happy. You see how easy it is to have a very, very rewarding career in dispatching by just doing a little bit of planning, strategizing just a little bit. Okay? I mean, this industry is full of, and there are loads like this all over. That's just one load that we just picked out at random. Right? You all think that we were lucky just to find that? Right? That's just one load out of Ohio that we picked randomly. Right? No luck involved in it. I could go through this load board and find. I bet you I can go through this load board and I can find 100 loads like that every day. It just requires you to look at the load boards and apply the strategies. That's all it is. It's just strategize. That's all it is. That's all it is. These load boards. Now I'm gonna let y'all in on something. These load boards are the biggest money-making opportunities you could come across. They really are. They really are. If you know how to use them, if you know how to apply the strategy. And we did this without the help of the straight dispatch. Did we not? And it didn't really take us that long to do it. Now just think if you've got the straight dispatch plugged in, come on. This is a cakewalk, man. A cakewalk. All right. Does everybody see how that's done? Is there anybody here that can say that you can't see yourself applying this strategy and making this happen? Is there anybody here that thinks that they can't do this? All right, let's go over to YouTube and see what our YouTube people have to say. If anybody's watching, whoa, we got a lot of people on YouTube that's asking questions. Okay, wow, I didn't know we had this many people who was following us on a Tuesday night. Y'all see all these people on here? Okay, let's see if we can get to some of this on YouTube. All right. Let's start at the top. Yes, 2 minutes to handle. All right. Good evening, everyone. Hey, and good evening, Lena. Good evening, folks. How's everybody doing? We got a lot of people on. As a dispatcher, how do you get paid from a carrier? All right. This is a question that's coming from the other trucker, James Best. All right, James Best. How do you get paid from a carrier? Does anybody want to address that with Mr. Best, Mr. James Best? Anybody here want to address that for Mr. James Best?
Invoice.
You're coming in broken up. I can.
Invoice.
Okay, yeah, you invoice, all right. But more specifically, I think he's looking for how do you set that up? How do you know what's the procedure for getting paid by the carrier? The procedure you go through in getting paid, yeah, by the carrier. First of all, you have to set things in place. You know, once you find, you know, you got to contract your carrier. You got to. One of the keys is getting them under contract. You got to get them signed to your dispatch agreement. Once you have them signed to a contract, and then you will go out and you find them loads, right? You are acting as the intermediary for everything that's going on with that carrier. So when you find a load, you contact the broker, and the broker sends you the what? Anybody? What is the broker going to send you?
Bill of loading.
The rate confirmation, right? They're going to send you the rate confirmation, right? So that hits your email, and then you forward it over to your carrier. What you're creating a paper trail. Okay, so you send it over to the broker, you send it over to the carrier signs and sends it back, you send it back to your broker. So now you've established that go-between and that connection. Now, after your carrier runs and drops that load, your carrier is going to send you the what? The BOL, the bill of lading. Okay, you're going to send you that, the signed bill of lading. You're going to take that and then you're going to forward it over to the broker. Then the broker is going to basically send that information, all that information up to their what? Factoring company. A day and a half later, no later than a day and a half later, you're going to call the broker back. Hey, Mr. Broker, I'm calling to check the status of my carrier's pay on load number, blase, blase, blase. That broker is going to tell you one of three things. That pay was issued to your carrier today or yesterday or today or whatever the case may be. Or that carrier is due to be issued pay today. Or that carrier is due to be issued pay tomorrow. At that point, whatever he tells you, you're going to go and you're going to create your invoice. Now, we use Square because Square has a very good invoicing system for you to create professional invoices. You can text it or you can email it right to your carrier. When the carrier gets it, all they have to do is click on it and pay with a debit or credit card. And it goes right into your Square account. You can transfer that money right to your bank account. That's how easy it is. Okay? That's really how easy it is. And you can attach in that invoice a copy of what? The dispatch agreement, a copy of the what? The rate confirmation, a copy of the BOL. So you have all the corroborating evidence that ties you to that deal and reasserts your connection for that carrier that you have a legal claim to that 10% or 7% or 12% or whatever you all agreed to in the dispatch agreement. Okay. So that's how you get paid from the carrier, Mr. Best. Okay, I hope we was able to answer that question for you. I appreciate that answer. I appreciate that question. Good question. FX team, take over, first timer. Okay, thank you. Who else got a question? Someone here, Mr. Duzzy Max, James Best trolling. LOL. He's not trolling. He's asking a legitimate question, and we're happy to answer him. The other trucker, James Best, not trolling back, but curious. Exactly. He's curious. He has questions. That's what we're here for. We're here to answer the questions. Okay. We're here to show you all how to really make money booking freight from home. Because that's what we do. Okay. We show people how to book freight from home. And tonight is one of our standard training nights for how to dispatch on every Tuesday night. Okay. Patricia Douglas Dougal says yes. Okay, I guess she's happy with what we have here. Trucker Best says some lows, yes. Douglas James, you've been around for a while. You don't know the answer to that question. All right, let's not get on people for not knowing the answer to the question. Because look, we have people who come to our network because they want to learn. I know a lot of truckers who've been around for a while and still don't know how to book freight. I know a lot of truckers who've been driving trucks for 30 years and still don't know how to run a truck. They think they know how to run a truck. See, that's a problem. People think they know how to do a certain thing. They think they have all the answers. They think they, I've been doing this for years. I know what I'm doing. Well, all that means you've been doing it wrong for years. Okay? I mean, that's all that tells me. Because if you are looking at what we're doing, and if you say to yourself, well, I never knew that, then that means that you just didn't know. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. A lot of times people are doing the same thing over and over and over and over again because that's what they were taught, and it's not necessarily the right way or the right thing to do. Someone has their mic open and they're doing a lot of shifting with papers and stuff, and it's really starting to interfere with our broadcast. So if you're shifting a lot of stuff, you got some stuff going on, mute your mics, please. We appreciate that. But there's a lot of people in this industry who have been in this industry for a long time, and they think because they've been doing something a certain way for a very long time that that's the right way. That's not necessarily the case. A lot of times, I mean, look, I have dispatched for a lot of carriers. My dispatch firm at one time had 317 carriers that we were dispatching for as a company. And I can tell you, a lot of those carriers have been around for a long time, and a lot of those carriers were astounded at some of the strategies that we were showing them and that we were using to help them to increase their revenue. Because they just simply didn't know. They thought they knew because they had been doing it for a long time one way. But that doesn't necessarily make it the best way, okay? You can always learn something, always. Everybody can always learn something. And that's what we're here to do. That's what our platform does. Okay, we take our strategies and we show owner-operators, we show dispatch firms, we show brokers how to strategize and find ways to increase the revenue of their owner-operators. Because that's what it's really all about. If you increase their revenue, your revenue increases. If you're on that 10% dispatch fee or brokerage fee or whatever you're charging them, okay? But it's about making everything work out for everyone. Douglas Mack, Invoice the carrier. Some dispatchers are using factoring companies now. That's true. Mr. Mack says, "Hey James, you're hiring agents." I'm not gonna get into that. Now your driver's clock is running. No, your driver's clock. Well, no, your driver's clock is not running if they're at the shipper and they go into sleeper. Okay. Here again, there's another case of what someone thought they knew, but they really don't know. Okay. Look, I started out driving for Covenant Transport. Okay. 2 drivers, trucks always moving. There were cases where we ran for 3 weeks and never had to do a 34 reset. 3 weeks, no 34 reset. Why? Because we knew how to time manage that clock. Okay, if you know how to time manage that clock, if you know how to recalibrate your system to where most trucks, if you are running under a certain mileage, 12, 15 miles an hour, your clock does not start until you can run at 10 miles an hour for 3 miles and then your clock will start. Or if you're running under 10 miles an hour, your clock won't start unless you hit that 3 mile mark. So when you pull into a shipper, go into sleeper. If you're stuck in traffic, put your truck in sleeper because you're only moving what? 2 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, an hour. You're moving just 10 miles an hour. At times you're stuck in Atlanta for 2 hours during a traffic jam. There's no need to keep your clock running. Put that bad boy in sleeper, and guess what? You're gonna get that time back on recaps. Now, if you don't know what recaps are, then then like you say, you need an education in how to manage a truck, because you can run off recap for an entire 2 weeks if you know what you're doing, if you know how to time manage that clock. Okay. Now I can teach you a thing or two about how to run a truck because I know how to run a truck. Okay, trust me on that. I know how to run a truck. I know how to time manage. I know how to work the clock. I know how to save that time. I know how to work those recaps and run for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and never have to shut down for a 34 reset. Okay, but it requires you to be willing to sit down and listen and learn something about how to run a truck. Okay, no, I didn't drive a truck for 30, 40 years, but I was smart enough to figure out the ins and outs. And I listened to people who knew better than me on how to run a truck. And I incorporate all those things that I learned into what I do now in teaching people how to dispatch, teaching people how to train owner operators, how to be better owner operators. Because that's what it's really all about. A good dispatcher can make an owner operator, really, if they have the right training. And that's what we do here. Okay, we train them in the right way of how to run a truck and how to get the most out of the owner operator's time. All right. I appreciate all of you all who are coming on. We've got a large crowd here tonight. Dale Watson, get a few surcharge with it. Yep. So we got a lot of good, feedback here tonight. I'm really happy to see so many people logging on, have so many questions and so much stuff that's going on. Are there any live cold call trainings doing the pitch? We used to do the live cold call pitches all the time. We don't do very much of that now because we've evolved so far into our platform. We're doing so much other stuff now. We have the Assurance USA platform that we have our own flat fee dispatching firm. We have the National Dispatchers Network that we do, and we have so much stuff that we're doing now. It's kind of hard for us to do the live cold calls, especially at this late hour. Now on Saturdays, doing the Six Figures Booking Freight from Home show, there may be an opportunity to do live cold calls. And if you want to see some live cold calls, go back and watch some of our older videos. Go to our YouTube channel. Just go down right here. Where you see right here, the RBBS Logistics Learning Center. If you all go down there, you can click on that. That'll take you right over to our YouTube channel. And you'll find more than 600 operational training videos. Each of them more than 2 hours long. They're all free. And in some of our earlier videos, we did a lot of live cold calls. So that's, we're not going to continue to do those all the time because we've been there, done that. Okay, so it's about showing you all how to do certain things. If you want to see that type of stuff, go back and watch some of the older videos. It's all still the same thing. It doesn't change. A live call is a live call. A cold call is a cold call. And you'll see we made plenty of cold calls, and we had plenty of owner operators who were dead set against our call at first, but you'll see how we won them over and we signed them up to our dispatch agreement. and we turn them into believers because we are the real deal. Because unlike a lot of freight broker trainers, they talk a good game, but they're not the real deal. We are the real deal. Okay, I own a dispatch firm. I own a brokerage firm. I was a truck driver. I was an owner operator, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, I don't have to guess about this stuff. I know what I'm talking about. I know these strategies work because they work for me and my own truck. They work for me and my brokerage firm. They work for me and my dispatch firm. And they work for my students because they come here to learn how to really manage a truck. And that's what we do at the National Dispatchers Network. I appreciate all you all who are logging on. I mean, our popularity is growing, as you all can see. So I really appreciate everyone logging on. Now I want everybody to log on to us this Saturday at 10:15. This Saturday for the Six Figures Booking Freight from Home show. We've got some guest speakers that are going to be coming on that are really going to with some things that are going to interest all of you all. So I want to see you all come back to us this Saturday for our Six Figures Booking Freight from Home show, and tomorrow night for our Q&A. Tomorrow night is all questions and answers Q&A. Same time, 7 o'clock. All right. So let's get back over to our students here. All right. As you all can see, our YouTube channel is really banging tonight. We have a lot of people on YouTube following us tonight, and that's always good. You know, our popularity is growing. People, what we do is starting to resonate with people, and as you all can see that you know, people are really into what we have to offer. So you all are in a good spot. All right. Anybody have any questions on this about, you know, setting up these dedicated lanes, how to find them, you know, what to say to the brokers when you call them up? You got to ask that question all the time. You got to quiz them on that, on, you know, if this load is repeatable and things of that nature. You also, how we do the reverse search. If you're on direct freight, you look for the reverse search. Some load boards call them backhauls. Some call them reverse searches. You know, it's still the same thing. If you find a load and you do the backhaul, or you do the reverse search, and then you find a load going back, and then you call those brokers back and you quiz them. Is this load repeatable? Does this load repeat during the week? Is this something that my driver could get on and run this every other day or every week? You know, ask those questions, because if you're asking that on every single, you know, load and reverse search you find, at least 2 times out of 10, you're gonna set yourself up for a dedicated lane that you can create. Okay. Anybody have any questions on that? Any questions? Any questions? Okay. All right.
Question, Mr. Calvin.
Yes, sir.
If a dispatcher is a member of the Assurance USA,
Yeah.
can he use the same LLC to have a private or another dispatch where he can charge 10%?
Of course he can, but you can't use the Assurance USA back office tools and resources for your own personal dispatch firm. You can use the national dispatchers. You can use the National Dispatchers Network back office tools and resources. Now, if you are running your own dispatch firm outside of the Assurance USA, this is the platform. This is the back office you use to run your own dispatch firm. If you're working in the capacity as a member specialist or a branch owner with Assurance USA, this is the back office you're going to use for Assurance USA. Don't try to mix the two. Don't try to overflow, you know, stuff from Assurance USA over to your own dispatch firm, because then you are violating our trademark. Because remember, everybody who is operating under Assurance USA, you are operating under our trademark agreement. Okay, Assurance USA has a trademark. We have a legal licensed trademark. We have a patent. So that allows us to keep stuff within our own platform for our use only. Okay, if anybody wants to use our stuff that we use in our back office or use our methods, they've got to enter into a trademark agreement with us. If you decide to use our stuff and use our, you know, things that we do and how we do it outside of our trademark, and we find out about it, we're gonna sue you. Okay, and when we go into a trademark dispute, they're gonna ask to see our trademark, and we're gonna simply pull it up for you and show it to the judge. And then the judge is going to have no choice but to side with us, because as you can see here, I can quickly go and pull up the Assurance USA trademark. I mean, you can Google the Assurance USA trademark, and it will pull us RBBS Assurance USA. There we are, right there. There's our trademark, as you all can see. Okay, this is our trademark. You can see trademarks, patents, and copyrights. We have both the trademark and we have a limited patent. So, you know, if you decide to violate our trademark and use our, you know, our methods of stuff without our knowledge, without entering into a trademark agreement with us, we're going to take you to court. And whatever money you made in your business, we have carte blanche to take that too, okay? And we will probably do that because you failed to contact us and let us know that you wanted to infringe upon our trademark. You failed to enter into any type of trademark, agreement or negotiation with us in good faith, and you proceeded outside of that good faith. Then guess what? When we find out about it, we're not gonna, don't expect us to come in and then to take it easy on you. When you have profited from our strategies or from our things that we use that are under our trademark. So don't expect us to be to go easy on you when you had the opportunity to contact us and say, hey, I like what you all have going on. I'd like to enter into a trademark with you so I can operate under your trademark legally. Okay, that's what it means to have a trademark. That's why when you see on Shark Tank, first thing they ask, do you have a patent pending? Do you have a trademark pending? And when they say, well, no, I don't, well, I'm out. Because it is very important and very essential that you incorporate these things when you're starting your business, especially if you have something that's unique, okay, and you're able to get a trademark or limited patent on it. This is what you do, in business. You seek these things out so that you can have control over, your copyrights, your patents, and your trademarks. All right. So, excuse me here. Good question, by the way, and I appreciate that question. But these are the two platforms that we have. We have the National Dispatchers Network. This is for our members of the National Dispatch Network who are running your own dispatch firm. We provide you all with the tools, resources, training, and support for you to run your own dispatch firm and make your own money. We don't touch your money. You keep 100% of everything you earn on the National Dispatchers Network side. We just collect our $29.95 per month plus tax. Okay, that's it. For you to access all these tools, resources, training, and the support. On the Assurance USA side, that's a different platform. And in this back office, when you are working under the Assurance USA, you are basically working under our trademark agreement, and we are paying you a commission. So everything we do here is based on flat fees. There is no percentages. We have a flat fee dispatching service where we only charge $250 per week. And our member specialists and branches get 25% of that monthly dispatch fee. $1,000 a month, they're getting 25% of that. The branch is, the member specialist getting 25% of what the branch makes. Okay, our owner-op trucking program, flat fee, $3,808 per month to run underneath our authority. Owner operators keep 100% of everything they earn. Okay, and our member specialists and our branch owners, they get 25% of the owner-op usage fee, the authority usage fee, which is $2,500 per month. So they get 25% of that also too. And the member specialists get 25% of what the branch gets. And all of our products and services, our core products, we pay commissions on that stuff. Our business credit establishment, they get 40% commission on that. On some of the other stuff, you get your regular 25% commissions and things of that nature. And the new platform that we're entering into now, that our guest speaker will be here on Saturday with the MWR, great platform. It's going to show people how to position themselves financially to better to improve their financial health. Okay, so that's who we are. That's what we do. This has been our training for tonight. Okay, I hope y'all got something out of this. I hope y'all learn how to convert your carriers over to dedicated lanes, or how to find and create dedicated lanes. It's not that hard. It really isn't. But it does require you to ask the question every single time that you find your carrier, a load, and you find them a backhaul. The key to this is finding the load, the money load, and then finding a backhaul that gets them back to the money load. It's not necessary to find two great paying loads. Now, if you do find a great paying load going and a great paying load going back, that's great. But it's not necessary to make your carrier very profitable. Because as you can see, by finding a decent reefer load paying $4.40 per mile going, and then finding a dry van load, which reefers can run going back, $1.36 per mile. You know, if you marry those two and you use that cheap paying freight as a way to get back to your money load, you marry those two, and as you can see, you basically set your carry up for making more than $456,000 per year. That's almost $500,000 a year, man. Come on. Not very many owner operators out there making that kind of money on a dedicated run. And I've shown y'all how to find them all over the place. You can repeat that same process on just, just about any state that you see here, on this load map. Okay. I mean, we just randomly picked Ohio, but we can do the same thing in Florida. We can do the same thing in Texas. We can do the same thing in New Mexico, California, New York, Missouri, Louisiana, Georgia. We can do the same thing in any one of those states. Doesn't really matter. Okay. So,
hey, Calvin, I got a question.
Yeah.
Hey, will you be able eventually probably put some of those load boards from RBBS on the assurance side, back office? And the second question is, I've been speaking with the carrier that's really considering it power only through JB Hunt. Will they be able to go in a back office and get their own loads? I think that's what they kind of want to do, or will I have to go in there and dispatch for them?
No, if they are signed up to our flat fee dispatching, yes, they can.
Okay.
But you as their member specialist has to get them signed up with JB Hut 360.
Okay.
Because remember, you as their members, because member specialists for the Assurance USA side is basically the equivalent of a dispatcher on your own dispatch firm side.
Right.
Okay. So by them signing our flat fee dispatching agreement, they are basically giving you the rights. They're making you their agent. Okay, so you already have their DOT number, their MC number, so you can go over to JB Hut and you can submit the information and get them set up for the JB Hut 360, and then you go back over and say, hey, I got you set up for the JB Hut 360. Here's the load board. Have at it. Go for it.
Okay, they were under the impression that they could just sign that, just get the power only without doing the flat fee dispatching. That's a package.
Not through us, no.
Okay.
No. If you're on the flat fee dispatching side, you don't get to use our contract with JB Hut, because we have a contract with JB Hut. We have a 360 power only contract with JB Hut for their dedicated runs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and we only provide that to those individuals who are signed up to our flat fee dispatch.
Okay, gotta be flat.
Okay.
Okay.
So you
but
can't.
They can't go in and get their own loads though.
Yeah. After they get signed up to our flat fee dispatching agreement, I mean, they're only paying us $250 a week, man.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I mean, and not only that, we have a lifetime membership to Trucking Planet. Well, we get some great, through that, we've got some dedicated runs on that really put, some people to shame.
Okay, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I think you said something in the video a couple of weeks.
You were saying? I must have lost it. Did I lose it? Okay. As you can see here through our Trucking Planet connection, because we went ahead and paid for a lifetime membership to this, we're able to pull up, all types of dedicated runs. As you can see here, this load here runs 2 times a week. I mean, this is a one-of-a-kind load board that tells you, what loads
looking
are
for like box truck and cargo. They're not
what? Okay, I'm only getting parts of your conversation. I'm not hearing everything you're saying.
I'm sorry, Calvin. I'm driving and I lost signal.
I understand.
Let me go back and refresh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't have an accident now. We don't want you out there driving and trying to talk to us at the same time.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that.
All right. But no, through our Trucking Planet, we have access to box truck loads, because they was here through our shipper database. We have access to 34,000 dry van shippers. Flatbed hot shot shippers, 10,900 plus shippers. We have refrigerated shippers. We have access to 2,900 plus refrigerated shippers. Distributors and wholesalers, 27,000 plus. Fresh food, agriculture and horticulture shippers, 4,000 plus. Importers, and exporters, 5,600 plus. Medical equipment manufacturers, 2,800 plus. 3PLs and commercial warehouses, 1,200 plus. So we've got a combination of not just loads, but direct access to shippers and the shipping managers. So it's not like when we pull this up, we just pulling up, random people that we get the call or whatever, this and that. No, we have access to the actual, when we pull these, these shippers and stuff up, we're getting access, and it gives us the the access to the direct person who is who we need to contact, and that type of stuff. Hold on, let me log in. I forgot to log in, everybody. I got all my logins on my
I just got my signal back, so I missed the answer to the question.
Oh shoot.
But I watched the video on YouTube.
Okay.
I look at it on YouTube.
You gonna have me to go back and repeat all this stuff again?
No, I look at it on YouTube.
Let me pull up my let's see here. All right, here we go. Let me log into what you call it here real quick. I'm on my little laptop tonight. Normally I'm on my big computer, which has all this stuff already programmed in. Info at no. Done. That should do it. Save that. All right, great. All right, now we in. Now when I go in here, I can pull up those shippers, view shippers list. We can go ahead, we can pull up these shippers, flatbedders and all that type of stuff. Once we pull up those shippers, and you can see here, it actually gives us the name of the person who's in charge of making the decision. So it's not like we're going in and we just pull up the shippers and get some random number. No, every contact on here is a verified person in charge of making that decision. Okay, it even tells you, what their title is, what all that type of stuff is. So, and it gives us their direct phone number and their direct email address. So to assurance, you would say we have made a really, really concerted effort, because we have paid, handsome fees to have this type of access, to bring the best, loads, the dedicated load boards and stuff that you just don't see out there on regular load boards. Access to the shippers and manufacturers and going direct to the person who makes those decisions. It costs us, a healthy penny to get this type of access, but because of our internal budget that we created through our trademark, we have the funds to do that. We are a debt-free company with an operating budget that kind of puts most companies to shame. When you take a look at our operating budget that is within our company and that we have created, and we have created this internally. We didn't have to go outside to borrow money from anybody. That's what it means to have this type of budget and be debt free. So that gives us a really huge advantage when it comes to how we operate within Assurance USA. And by being able to take advantage of all these different things that we have access to, that's what allows us to only charge these flat fees and save on operators' money. So and still provide them with the best of loads, the best of shipper contacts, the best of everything that we can get in the industry. Okay. All right. All right, everybody. It's getting close to 9 o'clock. We're getting ready to shut this down. I really appreciate you all joining us. Again, I want to give a shout out to our YouTube viewers. Thank you all for joining us. You all really stepped up tonight, and I don't think there's been a time on YouTube that we had this many actual YouTube viewers. So, we got a lot of feedback from YouTube. I'm going to be answering these questions probably all night. So I'm going to go in and review all of these questions, and I'm going to try and respond to each and every last one of them by replying to their questions and stuff, and try to hope that we can satisfy you all and keep you all tuned in to us. And remember, tomorrow night is all Q&A, questions and answers, and this Saturday, 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have two very prominent guest speakers. You all don't want to miss the next episode of the Six Figures Booking Freight from Home show, which we have every Saturday, 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we broadcast live on YouTube. So all of our YouTube viewers, tune in. All of our people who are part of our network, we have more than 1,681 active subscription paying members to the National Dispatchers Network. Tune in. I want to see all of you all there this Saturday. Okay. We have two guest speakers to explain one of our new core products, very great product in helping people to become to improve their financial health, and showing you all how to reduce your tax liabilities. You truckers out there, we're going to show you all. This company that we're bringing on they have a team of experts, and their job is to show you how to take advantage of the tax codes like the super rich. You all are aware that Donald Trump made billions, only paid $750 in taxes. Amazon made trillions and paid no taxes. We're gonna show you all how to do the same thing. Okay. I used to own a tax firm, so I know these things work. My wife, last year, she had a great year, a couple $100,000, her business. After I finished doing her taxes, she didn't owe any income tax. I made a little over a couple $100,000 last year, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I paid like $370 something in taxes last year because we know how to work the tax codes. Let's face it. You either know how to play the game or the game plays you. Okay, one or the other. Either you play the game or you get played by the game. Okay, there's no in between, right? There's no in between. And so what we're gonna do with our partnership with MWR Financial, we're gonna level the playing field. We're gonna show you all how to play the game, so you don't get played by the game. Okay. All right. With that being said, I thank you all for joining us for this episode of How to Dispatch Training, and I hope you all learned something. I hope you all got a lot out of it. I appreciate our YouTube viewers. I appreciate our National Dispatch Network people and our Assurance USA branch owners and member specialists. It was a pleasure. I know we don't get to go back to our roots very often, but I really do like when we do our core dispatch training on Tuesday nights. We just had so much going on here in the past that we had to catch up on, and I'm still catching up on some stuff, but I'm going to try to make it a point to make sure that every Tuesday night we have our dispatch training. Okay. Thank you all. I appreciate each and every last one of you all. This will be available on YouTube as soon as we finish here. It takes about an hour for it to reacclimate itself, but then it's available on YouTube for you all to review it. Y'all can probably go and pull it up here in the next 10 minutes. Thank you all again, and I appreciate every one of you all. Hope to see you all back here tomorrow night for Q&A, and then on Saturday, of course, for the Six Figures Booking Freight from Home show. Everyone have a good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mr. Good night, everybody.
Trying to see how I can pull this up. Okay, stop sharing. There we go.